This oar's broken, so I can't catch a rope. So downriver, it sounds pretty bad. I can't go over it. Unless somebody comes over here and rescues me, I'm gonna be in big trouble. But we're in luck, because right over there, we've got Corry from the United States, and he's teaching a level 2 rescue course.
Hey, how are you? What's up?
Hey man, how's it going? Yeah, welcome to Taiwan.
Thank you. We made it.
Corry in Taiwan. Right, man. So I brought you out here to reduce the incidence of drowning deaths in Taiwan. We've had many drowning deaths related to recreational activities. A child who drowned, what I believe is a foot entrapment. There's also been a lot of accidents related to people crossing the river. 2 of the boater accidents, the PFDs were actually removed. There was another boater accident where the victim just didn't self-rescue. I've even been in classes where like things were presented to me as something that's really safe. And then later, when we were on the Zambezi, I would join your class and I'd learn the same things that I was taught before in kind of a different context and in a way that made me realize like some of the other things that I was doing and that I was taught and maybe even telling other people to do was not the safest way to do it.
我们在一般看书来说会领悟不到，是因为我们只有知道，这个书或是这个教练他怎么做，可是他没有去明确细想说，这个动作为什么会是这样子。今天参与这个，让我领悟到，原来这个动作不单单只是做这样子，它的前面的阶级的步骤是什么。
So my hope is that you can teach some classes to the people who want it the most. I know we have a lot of firefighters, river tracers, canyoners. These people are going to go back and share what they learned. And I hope that we can slowly put a better way of thinking out there, a better way of like safety logic out there. And, hopefully it'll just kind of propagate through the communities.
Sure.
And in the long run, reduce drowning.
非常的好，因为我觉得在河道上面有应用到，因为一开始我就跟雅琪还有小飞讨论说，我希望课程跟我们溪降会有很大的关系。然后我觉得 Corry 教练给我们很多的想法，在溪谷可能会遇到的状况，包含可能被树枝卡到啊，然后被树木卡到，被石头卡到，不同的情境我们一直在演练，然后包含怎么去救你的伙伴，所以我觉得这是一个很棒的课程 ，fantastic 。
会有些差别，小差异是我们供给式跟他们都是讲要40度朝上游，然后这样发现这个部分其实它会比较看那个 scenario 的状况，有时候可能90度，有可能甚至朝下比较快，是蛮同意Corry 说的，就是 this depends， 看各种状况。
A lot of people come to me asking for a rule. I want to give you reasons, not rules. And I want you to develop the experience and framework to make those decisions on your own. And I think people have resonated with that idea and are starting to build that framework for themselves, which is awesome.
会来上这个课程是因为想要了解一下国外的救援方式不一样的地方在哪里。比如说丢绳子，我们是直接抓住绳子。那今天学到的是丢绳子之后，怎么样可以比较不会让在水里面的人容易吃水的状况下去做移动？这是我们在训练班没有上过的东西。
帅哥，
好的 boys。
Corry 他的教学细节很多，以前也有上过课，然后相较之下，就是有些细节是以前不会提到的，然后这些细节是。除非你是很有经验的教练，才会知道有这些东西可以分享的。
Grab the line! Grab the line!
We have kind of a focus on this idea of the SSI rescue philosophy, which propagates around the idea of simple is smooth and smooth is fast. And often we can solve problems with more simple techniques rather than moving to more complex techniques like potentially a tethered rescue swimmer, otherwise known as live bait.
Yeah, you saved my life.
we do a good job at framing rescue and swiftwater rescue in a tiered system where we move from these more simple techniques to potentially get to something more complex if we need to. But often we can solve problems at the first step or second step rather than going up to these complex rescues.
In the past, I'd like learned a lot of these techniques, but then with your classes, got the philosophy behind it and why you're doing it. And when you know why you're doing it, the changes a bit of which tool you're going to use.
Yeah, totally.
All right, enough of all of that. We just did, 30-ish kilometers on low water, really pushy, narrow canyon. Bony as hell, but quite technical.
Like that was super unique, super fun, very, very enjoyable. And I really kind of enjoyed like hopping these micro eddies, and then a couple of those like bigger vertical drops I was very excited about. Had good lines mostly.
I'm behind you with the cameras, so try not to get stuck.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it was a blast. That was super, super fun. I love teaching Swiftwater, but I've also really loved getting to kind of immerse in the culture of Taiwan and visit these hot springs.
Yeah, you had a very local experience over at the Jingying Hot Spring.
Yeah, that was super fun.
一定是要参加。
他会吓到。
And speed.
Hey, 泰克。
It's not gross.
It was properly taken care of. Yeah.
9. Okay. 10.
As far as the paddling on the Ganbei River.
Ganbei
River.
Ganbei，
就是我的干杯，
Ganbei.
Ganbei。
是我干杯。
What river is that? We should go.
Yeah, let's go to the Ganbei
Let's go
River.
to Ganbei River. You got me thinking hot springs. I say Ganbei.
That's your association with hot springs.
Yeah,
Now let's
it's
go.
Ganbei.
Yeah, I just got 2 beers.
The Baekong
He
River.
didn't have 2 beers. He had.
No, he just had 2 beers today.
Yeah, they gave me 2 beers here.
Oh, every time you've been to a hot spring, like somebody has given you a beer.
They just walked up and gave me 2 beers, and then we came back and they gave us a whole thing of bread. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I've had a blast. It's been so much fun. I've probably had 500 bubble teas. My goal is to drink 1,000, so I'm about halfway with only a few days left. But yeah, I've had a blast driving around the island. I've been loving like the variety of little tiny trucks and vehicles, and been loving my little home on 4 wheels for the time I've been here.
Do you know what it says?
17 camper van life, something. Is that what are you talking about?
Let's take a 17.
17.
If you read it in Chinese, it's 一起, and 一起 means together. Go out together.
No, it's like apartment. That can be maybe a verb,
It's
but
sexual?
yes,
Okay.
the husband has another girl outside, which is also mean 外遇.
This was a gift from the Taipei City and Miaoli firefighters. They saw me eating nori, and I was like, oh, this is my favorite. Got this big canyoneering group that's doing both a Pro 1 and a Pro 2, and was really awesome. They had really excellent rope skills. Just morning day 1, we're able to just whip out a bunch of mechanical advantage systems, which I very rarely see that as an instructor, where like 14 people are like right on the money like that. So that was awesome. And they've invited me out to go canyoneering with them and do a descent of the Tie Bilun. And I think they're going to have me kind of just demo a couple of swims in these like recirculating eddies below some of the drops in that canyon. So I'm really excited to go check that out as well.
I get asked this question a lot, which kind of surprises me. But people are always asking, if you're stuck in a hydraulic or some situation like that, can you remove your PFD? When I was on the Zambezi a month ago, one of the clients, they asked Darwin, if you're stuck in a hydraulic, are you going to remove your PFD? And Darwin was like, It's like, no, I'm not doing that. But she was a certified lifeguard and had been taught that in a Swiftwater rescue course. And so I'm wondering if you have ever seen that taught, or if, you know, if you were stuck in, you know, if you were in big water and couldn't swim out, like, would your response be to move your PFD?
I think this idea of removing the PFD is something that's almost talked about in like river guide lore. Like there was one guy who did it and got out of some crazy hydraulic, and now it's like
the legend.
And I think in reality, it's very hard for me to imagine a scenario where I would remove my PFD. It's hard to imagine a scenario where that would even be possible with the type of PFD I have.
In order for me to remove my PFD, I have to take off my helmet. I have to like unclip a bunch of buckles. I have to like do this weird yoga and like go like that. And I just can't imagine any scenario that I could do that in an emergency.
Yeah.
I just, you know, if it was a technique, right? If it was a real technique and not just some legend, PFD would be designed to have some kind of a quick release. Like we have a quick release on a strap, that would be some kind of a quick release.
Yeah.
And it's not there. Yeah. And so just as a general rule, I'd say don't do it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, you know, again, 99.9% of your time on the river, you're just not going to see a scenario where that is the best option.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to the Taiwan Whitewater Association for inviting me out here. I had so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to potentially do this again.
We had to invite you back because we had a lot of people who were trying to join the Pro 2, and then there just wasn't space available. And then we have lots of people asking us about a Pro 3, which I don't even think exists, but maybe I'll have to invent it.
Yeah.
Go back to SSI.
We'll figure something out.
Like, create a new one. Because I think people learn something.